I've just picked up this new Audi A3 sportback S-Line in glacier white just this week, and this is just going to be my sort of owner's review of the car, what I like about it, what I don't like, what sort of specifications to go for, what engines to go for. This is the 30 TFSI manual, so it's the 1 litre 3-cylinder turbocharged engine with 110 brake horsepower. Some people might ask why I went for the smaller engine. So I'm 19, so anything bigger would have really struggled on really is getting insured. So I'll talk through the engine, what my initial thoughts are, go through the interior, what you get as standard in the UK, which is actually quite a lot, and I'll show you some shots of the car as well. So let's get straight into it. Okay, so here is the front of the car, and I think you'll all agree that I think Audi's done quite a nice design on this car. So first of all, you've got that single frame honeycomb grille with the this has got the high gloss package on it, with it being the S-Line. It's also got these really nice 3 slats at the top of the vehicle. So these are fake, obviously, there's no real vents in there, but they do give the car a real nice stance on the road, which, I mean, I'm really keen on. Now, I was at first wondering whether to go for the turbo blue, but I decided to go for the white in the end. I think it shows the shape off better. So on the bonnet you get these really nice you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so you've got 5 different scoops in the bonnet, which I think look really sporty, really nice. And coming up to the headlights here, so with the S-Line you do get these full LED lights, which do look really nice, the daytime running lights. You also get full LED headlights. Now on the basic Technic and Sport, I think the 2 trim levels are, you get LED headlights. You don't get the LED daytime running lights like this one, you get the standard ones. And then in the rear, which I'll show you in a minute, you get halogen headlights. Whereas on the S-Line and above, you get the full LED rear lights. You also get these 2 sporty front air intakes on the bumper, which are fake again, but they do help to give it a sportier look. I think we know all manufacturers now do fake inlets and things like that, but overall it does help to give the car that sportier look, really sportier stance. So if we now move to the side of the vehicle, which is where I think Audi's done a really good job on this car, you get on the S-Line standard 18-inch 5-arm design alloy wheels, which I actually really like. They're very similar to the black edition ones, but obviously in silver. You get these really nice titanium grey side skirts on the car. And then in terms of the panels themselves, you've got this really strong crease here, which runs all the way down the side of the vehicle, and it goes right around the back, which I'll show you in a minute. I think that looks really nice. You get these really deep scoops in the side of the car here, which when the sun's reflecting on it look really, really nice. You also get on the S-Line and above privacy glass to the side and rear, and you also get the sportier rear. I'm not really sure what this bit's actually called, but it runs from the S-Line roof spoiler, which is nearly twice as big as on the old model, I think I read. You also get chrome outlays around the windows, and in terms of the side profile of the car, that's more or less it. You do get electric folding mirrors, so if I lock the car now, they should fold electrically. Yes, you get them standard on every single trim level as far as I'm aware. So if we move to the rear of the car now, as you can see, it's got quite a sporty stance from the rear. It does look a bit like the Q3 actually when I first seen it. I was a bit unsure actually, but now I've seen it in the flesh, I do like it. You know, you do have the obligatory fake exhaust on this car, which actually don't look too fake, they're actually not too bad. You do get the sportier rear bumper with the S-Line, so you've got the little honeycomb pattern there again. You also get these sportier rear intakes as well. Now these are the full LED rear lights, which have got like a 3D effect in them. They look really good at night time, which I will show you on this footage, some nighttime footage of the lights. The LEDs are really strong at night time. The front LEDs are fantastic. I went from an old Audi A1 with the xenon headlights, and the LEDs do make a huge difference to the car. So as you can see, this spoiler is quite prominent, really strong spoiler, really like it. And in terms of the boot, It's not electrically on this car, I didn't opt for that. So if I just open the boot here, this car's got 380 litres, if I'm correct. I've also got the rubber lining in the boot as well. The rear seats full 20/40/20, which I'm aware isn't standard on every single trim level. I think that's from S-Line and above as well, otherwise it's just the 60/40 folding rear seats. You also get the privacy glass at the rear as well on this car. Now, as we say, moving down to the side, I think this has got really strong profile. I think in the Glacier white, it just really shows the shape quite nicely. So I'll just do one last walk around of the vehicle. And now we'll move on to the inside of the interior. Okay, so Audi's really tried to radicalise the interior of this A3. Maybe not exterior as much, but interior, it's definitely a revolutionary design. So starting from the top, quality is something I was slightly concerned at. Due to looking at the new A1, I was a bit worried that that might have moved into the new A3, and in some aspects it hasn't, in some aspects it has, which I'll go through now. So the tops of the doors, they are soft touch. They're not really soft touch, but they are soft touch, which is nice. You also get this nice aluminium inlay which runs through to the door handle, which I quite like opening like this. It's really nice. It also feels very expensive. Now here, this is hard plastic, it's not soft touch. Now this is, the door card here is leather. I've also went for the rock grey interior on this car, so I'll show you the seats in a minute that contrast quite nicely. So that's soft touch leather as well, with the stitching in the side and the grey door handles as well. Now I don't have the Bang & Olufsen sound system. This is a standard 6 speaker, which is actually really impressed with actually, because I was a bit worried. I do like my music, but I couldn't afford the comfort and sound. But I think Audi's done quite a good job with the sound speakers in this car. It's really impressive. And just lastly, before we move to the inside, I did opt for the ambient lighting package, so you do get ambient lights here on the doors, on the inlays as well, which I will show some footage of at night time. That is, for me, one of my favourite features of the car actually. Although it was only £130, I think it really lifts the interior up at night time. So if we move to the inside of the vehicle now, S-Line, you get these illuminated door plates which light up quite nicely at night time. Maybe it would have been nice for them to extend it a bit longer, but I think overall they're quite nice. I've also got the rubber floor mats in this car. So first of all, moving on to the seats. These are the front sport seats in twin leather in the rock grey colouring here. You also get the front centre armrest in the grey leather as well. Now, in terms of the quality of the leather, personally, I'm pretty sure this isn't actually real leather, because it doesn't feel like real leather. And also, as you can see already, I've only had this car for a few days now, and the leather's already starting to show a few marks, and just not really what I would expect from Audi. But overall, the seats are very comfortable, they look very nice. You also get the S embossing on the logos. Okay, so moving on to the rest of the interior now. This dashboard is soft touch, so if I just jump in the car here and show you the design of the car, this is soft touch, which is very nice, feels expensive. You also get this running along air vent, which I've had quite a lot of compliments actually from people sat in the car that they do like this design feature. Here you have the aluminium inlays, which is this is different from the standard spec. The S-Line gets a different sort of pattern on here, as you can see, quite a nice pattern. In terms of the quality of this, I've seen some videos where it wobbles all over. This is not the case in my car. Quality is fantastic here. The build quality feels strong, it feels solid. Okay, so moving on to the centre console. This is the 6-speed manual. So you've got this new gear lever, new gear knob, and actually I quite like it. Although it's not round like the old A1, the quality of this leather here, perforated leather, is quite nice. One thing I'm not so keen on, but I'm sure I'll get used to it, is this touch sensitive volume button. Now obviously you can click it here for bits and bobs and turning the MMI on, but obviously you have to swivel it like this to get the music. In terms of the rest of the design of the centre console, you have this sort of chrome finish here, around there, which feels nice. Oh, sorry, just turn that down. You also get this sort of matte finish here, which is a lot nicer than the sort of piano black inlays. In my opinion, it doesn't scratch as easy. Now this car also comes with, from Sport and above, the drive select modes. Now you don't get economy, or should I say efficiency mode, on the 30 TFSI, just because I assume it's too small of an engine to actually get any more efficient. You don't have the park assist, because that comes on the comfort and sound pack, which, as I say, is about £1,200. Now from Sport and above, you do get electronic climate control. So if I turn the ignition on, as you can see here, this is the electronic climate control. Now these feel really nice and expensive to touch. They've got a nice little kicking sound. I usually just keep it on auto just so it can sort it out for me. But the actual fit and finish of this section here is really impressive, really like that. Okay, so next what we'll talk about is the bit under the armrest here. So you get two cup holders. I wish there was some sort of tray over there maybe, but to be honest with you, it doesn't bother me too much. You have the electronic handbrake, a 12-volt socket, and a place here to put the key. And then under the armrest here, you've got a little tray with no USB port. Slightly disappointing there, but apart from that, the rest I'm quite happy with the centre console. Now, just before we move on to the infotainment, this is the key. Feels solid, feels nice, like the aluminium pieces here. I got mine from Audi, so it's got a nice little leather keyring as well. So in terms of infotainment on this vehicle, so as standard now, every single A3 gets the 10.1 inch MMI Navigation Plus system as well. So I've connected my Audi app to this car now, and it's, to be fair, it's absolutely fantastic system. It's a massive step up from my old car. In terms, I do miss not having the MMI wheel, but you know, we're moving with the times now. Every manufacturer's doing it. I wish they wouldn't, but it is what it is really. So you can say you got your drive select, so you've got your comfort auto dynamic, and then you've also got your media, which I haven't connected to just yet. Your telephone, your navigation, which is a fantastic system. It's really quick, really easy to use. You've got your search functions. You can do it by voice, or you can just show you here. Oh, well, you can actually draw the lettering on yourself. So if I just go back here and back home, and then in terms of the ambient lights, I can't show you right now, but we'll show you some footage later. But just to show you how you do that, you go into car, and this is a bit fiddly, you know, it is annoying sometimes having to go through all this, but you can go to your lights and your vision, your background lighting, individual, contour. So this is your contour, which is like your little your inlays here. They're currently set on red, but there's 36 different colours. You go back again, and then you've got your surfaces, which are these bits here inside of the door, so you can change that. So it's very configurable to how you want it exactly. What else do we have? You've got your Audi Connect for 3 years, so you can go on the weather, the news, your messages, purchases and things like that. So it's all very impressive really, the infotainment, and overall it's a massive step up, and I think as standard to get the 10.1 inch screen is, you know, it's fantastic really. Okay, so now sat in my driver's seat here. I opted for the flat bottom steering wheel, which is £125, which in my opinion is really worth the money. I do like the flat bottom steering wheel. It might not be as practical to use, but it looks a lot sportier. In terms of the design for the rest of it, we've got these air vents here, which sit right on top of the dash, and to be honest with you, when I first seen the photos I was like, oh my god, that looks hideous. And now I've actually got the car and I've jumped in it. From a driver's perspective, it looks really nice and sporty. It works really well. It keeps the temperature perfect on you, the driver. It's all driver focused. And then don't worry about this engine warning light here. It's just haven't got the ignition on. That's all that is. You've got these piano black inlays here with your aluminium again, with the ambient lighting, which runs from here all the way through the ambient lighting, all the way across, as I'll show you later on. Now, as standard, every A3 gets a 10.25 fully digital display, which you can go through the different settings here. You can go widescreen, sat nav, and the edition one does come with a larger one, but personally I don't think you need it. The quality is good enough on this, it's big enough. You don't really need to upgrade to the edition one, in my personal opinion. In terms of the rest of the cabin, especially while driving, it's supremely quiet. You've got this really insulating windscreen. The seals on the doors, you get triple seals, so very little road noise. It's a very refined car at speed and even at city driving. In terms of the suspension setup of this car, so with the 30 TFSI you get, just turn that off, the 30 TFSI you get the torsion beam rear suspension and not the multi-link, and I was slightly worried about that, but once again, when I drove the car home, I was very impressed. It was super comfy. Putting it in dynamic mode didn't make too much of a difference, but it did stiffen things up slightly and just overall made the driving experience a bit more engaging. In comfort mode, it's very comfy over bumps, especially in my town when we've got pretty bad roads. It deals with them very well. And at higher speeds, the engine is very refined. It's not like you'd expect. With a smaller engine, you might have to work hard and it's very noisy. With this car and the new 30 TFSI engine, I was pretty shocked actually at how refined the car was. So if anyone's got any worries on the smaller engine not being refined enough, you don't have to worry about that. It's very refined. In terms of the rest of the driving experience, the handling is impressive. It's a very light steering. Not loads of feel through the steering, but it's definitely more feel than the previous Gen A3, which I have driven. It feels sporty. You know, you can, if you put it round a few B roads, you know, you can have a bit of fun in the car. Obviously, it's not like a rear wheel drive 1 series or anything like that, but it's definitely good enough for most people. And if it's not, well, you're obviously looking at the wrong car. So what I'll do now is I'll talk through some of the other specifications. So, well, some of the other things you get standard with this car. So you get the full LED headlights and rear lights. You get the aluminium inlays. You also get rear parking sensors. As standard, you don't get a rear view camera or distance sensor, which is slightly annoying, but it is what it is. You get the electronic parking brake. You get pre-sense front. So if you were to go for driving in town and something comes out unexpectedly, the car will brake the car for you to stop you having an accident. You also get, if I just show you, you get these driving assist systems here. You get speed warning, distance warning, lane departure warning, Audi pre-sense, and you get the rest recommendation. So if you're doing a long journey, it'll tell you when to have a brake. So they're the main sort of specs on this car. This car would, list price was £27,000, but on a PCP finance, I got this car for £300 a month with a £1,500 deposit. So personally, I think that's quite a good deal when I was already in negative equity with my old A1. So I was quite happy with that. So now what we'll do is I'll jump in the back, show you the back seats and talk about the practicality of this car. Okay, so looking at the rear of the car now, it's obviously a 5-seat car. Also the rock grey seats go to the rear of the car as well. So just before I jump in and show you how much space there is in this car, I will just put the lights on. This car comes as standard with a rear armrest with your cup holders. And I like this actually because there's just enough room to lay your arm on it as well as having your cup holders. So that's quite happy with that. So if we just jump into the vehicle and jump into the back. Now the first thing you notice are these big seats from the front with the integrated headrest do block the view a bit. But for children, I don't have children, so it's not too much of an issue for me. First thing to notice is down here you've got your climate controls. However, there is no 12-volt socket or USB port, which Audi should have included, really. That's quite disappointing. There's no storage on the backs of the seats. That comes as part of the storage pack for £250, which I didn't specify. Now, one thing to note is in the rear of this car, hard plastics on the door. You do get this nice aluminium finish, and the ambient lighting does extend to the rear of the car. You get soft leather inlays, leather for your armrests, your door rests, grey here, and you also get speakers in the rear. So you do get separate headrests for the rear of the car, and if I just swing here, as you can see, I've got plenty of headroom, lots of headroom. I'm 5'6", and I've got plenty of headroom. And then knee room here, I would say I've got this much knee room, so plenty of knee room there. As I say, 5'6", so for most people, adults and children, will be absolutely fine in the back of this car. My quick review of the Audi A3 Sportback 2020 model, the 30 TFSI S-Line, and I've got to say, overall, I'm absolutely loving this car. It's a massive upgrade over my old one. It's refined, it's plenty quick enough for me. The interior is fantastic, the technology is second to none, and I think for the standard features on this car, you can't really ask for any more. I have sat in the Mercedes A-Class, and I think the fact, all these reviews usually say how amazing their infotainment system is with the dual screening. Yes, it is impressive, but you've got to pay nearly £3,000 for it, whereas with Audi you get your technology as standard. The quality inside's better than an A-Class, not as good as a BMW 1 Series, but the BMW 1 Series doesn't have the wow factor of the A3, so it depends what you're after really. But personally, I do like my Audis. I do love this new A3. I hope you enjoyed the review. If you've got any other questions you want to ask below on the car, then please do, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. Alright, cheers.